Hi all, in this video let's learn about Jotai. This is a state management library in ReactJS. What does Jotai means? It means state in Japanese language. So now let's learn what it is, like what are the benefits of Jotai and how to use it. Okay. Before that, I just wanted to show you about the Redux global state management tool. So how the flow maintains. So in order to use this Redux library, this is also a global state management library. In order to maintain this, see how many steps you need to do. For example, in UI, if you trigger any of the action, if you click a button, an action will be dispatched and that action will be going to the reducer. That reducer is responsible in updating the store. When that store is updated, then that state will be available for the UI. So this is a whole process happens in the Redux. But with Jota, this will not happen. This is a simple way we can use Jota. And also with the Redux, this one, the major thing is like the setup. You need to set up n number of things. You need to create actions, dispatches, reduces, store. A lot of setup needs to be done, a boilerplate to be created, and reducers to be created. But with Jota, nothing. It is a very simple steps we can use. That is the first benefit. And the another benefit is primitive API. So with while you're using Jota, you don't feel that you are using or learning a new thing. Use state instead of use state, you will be using use atom. That's it. That's the benefit. Means like primitive API means whatever you know with the existing knowledge, you can easily use the Jota as well. That is one benefit. So let's see all these things with an example. So let me start with this. Yeah. So first step in order to use the Jotai is npm install Jotai. So this is very lightweighted library. So it was installed. The first step is done. Second step, you need come to the src, create a file. So here I'm creating the file as atoms.js. Why I'm naming this as atom? So you can name it anything, but the reason why I'm named it as a atom means atoms are the core concepts of Jotai. Atom means a single piece of state where you can use that in multiple components throughout the application. So that's the reason atom is a core concept in the Jotaya. Whatever happens, like you create atoms, you update atoms. Everything goes with respect to the atoms. You can name this as a shared state, and you can include all the states which you wanted to share throughout the application. Okay. For the simplicity purpose, I'm just using the counter and the name atoms. Okay, you can use these type of atoms like theme atom so that the info should be known by all the components. So whenever the theme changes, you need to change the other components, right? So you need the information about the user because user info is needed for payments or add to cart anywhere in the e-commerce also, right? So whatever the state you wanted to share it through all the components, maintain all those, list down all those states here. Okay, how to list down, how to create this state. Let me show you. First line, you need to import atom. As we discussed, atom is a core concept of Jota. Atom, and inside that atom, you need to mention a value. This numeric value is a default value, like a default value. Okay. Now you are creating a variable constant count atom and given this atom. Okay. The reason why you're exporting them is you wanted to use these atoms in other components, right? So that's the reason we are exporting these things. That's it. Like you are done with creating the atoms. Now you have created two atoms. One is count atom and another one is the name atom. Okay. Now let's see how these atoms we use, how we read these atoms, how we update these atoms, how we write these atoms. So let's see. This is another component, counter component. Inside this counter component, see how to use these atoms. Firstly, you need to import use atom in the Jotaya. Okay. And after importing this use atom, with the help of this use atom only, you are going to access that atom, whether to read the data or whether to write the data. You will be using this use atom. And next, you are importing something from these atoms in our shared state. Okay, what you are importing the count atom. Whatever you want to use, you can import them. You want to use count atom, so count atom is the only one you're using here. If you want to use another atoms, a number of states are there. If you wanted to use a number of atoms, you can import them like this and you can use them. Okay, this is a count atom we wanted to use. So now if you see how we use in general the state, use state, and we use the default values. If you see why we call this is the primitive API, this is the reason. This is same as a structure. You no need, don't feel that you are learning a new thing. Use atom and put the atom like which you wanted to use. Okay, that's it. And this count is the default value. It will be having this count atom, and set count is to update the count value, the atom value. Okay, and we have the button. Whenever I click this buttons, you will be updating, modifying this atom value, atom state. Okay, this is the general way, basic way of using the atom. Atom was created here. How to read that value atom, how to update that value atom. So we learned it. Okay, fine. The same way in the name input also, we'll be importing that wherever. Now wherever, whatever the component you want, just this is another component. If you want to use some state, some atom, okay, just import use atom. And what atom you want to use, just import that atom. So you will be having a number of atoms. What component, what atom this component is needed, that component you can import and just use it the same way as use state. That's it. Okay, and the beauty of this is like whenever this atom is modified, the name atom is modified, then only this component would be re-rendered. Okay, it will not re-render unnecessarily. This is what the performance optimization. Only when this atom is modified, then only that component would be re-rendered. This is another benefit we are going to get with the Jotai. Okay, like this, how many components you have, in that many components just import this use atom and import like whatever the atom you wanted to use. Okay, and you can use it. That's it. Okay, and these two components we have in the app component. And one thing you can see here is, you no need to have any parent child relation or a sibling relation between the components. Components can be anywhere. Okay, only thing you can import this use atom and tell what atom you want to use and use that atom. That's it. That's done. Our job is done. Now let's see the app once, how it's running. So I will also let you know few of the important points to be learned here. So now if you see, this is a component one, this is a component two. I'm updating this component counter. It is updated. And here if you see, I'm updating the John, and it will be updated here. So this is the same as what we know about React use state. In the same way, we have did that with the Jotaya use atom. Okay. Now the point is, I want to use this count atom in this component two. Okay. This count value, I will increment here, but I want to read this value in the component two. How I can do that? Same, same way. So I'm here in the named components. What I want, count atom, right? I'm copying this count atom. I'm importing it here. Okay. What I need to do, I have imported this. How I can read that value with this use atom. Okay. And I'm using this use atom. Okay. And I will say this as a count. Okay. I don't want to modify that value. Just I will read that value. So I'm removing that. Okay. And here I will be mentioning this as H3, and I will use that count. So now whatever the value I change or modify in this, okay, I'm modifying this count atom. Once I modify this count atom, that atom will be reflected automatically in this component. Okay. This is how the synchronization happens. As soon as I change somewhere in one component, I'm updating some atom. That atom, if I'm using in another component, it would be reflected immediately. Synchronously, it would be reflected. So this is one of the major benefit. You are not going to do any of the actions, dispatches, reducers, modifying the state, and again subscribing to that store. All those huge setup or boilerplate is not needed here. Okay, just see, let's see that with an example. So here, see, now the count is 5. If I decrement this at the top, if you can see, I'm modifying the count atom, and in the component 2, I could able to read that atom. Okay, in the same way, if the component 1 wants to read or update this value, okay, that value also can be used here in the same way. Okay, that is the beauty and that is the benefit of Jota. All these benefits like the primitive API. Did you feel like you learned anything new? No, like just you have used like whatever you existing knowledge, you're using the same knowledge in the place of use state, you're using use atom. That is a primitive API. This library is lightweighted, and whenever the atom is modified, then only the component would be re-rendered, and it is synchronously you could able to use the things. Okay, as soon as you change the atom, it is reflected here. Okay, these are the benefits where makes us Jotaya is a best benefit to use. For example, in a larger scale application, how Jotaya helps is like you will be creating all the states in as these pieces, and it will help us efficiently and effectively maintain these states and atoms. Okay. In the same way, the synchronization is the best part. Like whenever I modify some atom using the another component which is using that atom is very helpful. That I find very benefit. And let me help you with other two components like concepts. Here, if you see, let's talk about the now you know about the atom. So let's discuss about the derived atom. What does the derived atom mean? So this is the derived atom. What does this atom is doing? It will take the existing atom. So if you see here the atom, and there's a get, and taking this existing atom and I'm modifying something. Okay, why I'm doing like this? So there is an atom. Okay, the user details. Some of the components want this username as is. Okay, some of the components want this username with capital letters. Okay, for that you can use this, and you can use the capital, you can modify that to the capitalized letters. Okay, instead of that, if you use the derived state, okay, updating, it means like you can modify the atom, the existing atom, and you can use that as well. And something modified with this user atom, it will automatically reflects with this derived atom as well. Okay, this is a derived, all about the derived atom. And also we have asynchronous way of fetching the data. So for example, an API call you need it throughout the app, like authentication or authorization or any of the data which you want throughout the components to be used. So then you can use that async like this, and you can fetch the data. Okay, this is an async atom. Now you can treat this as an async atom where the side effects were maintained very clearly. Okay, so very clean code. You're writing a clean code of using the async data atom. Okay, where this atom, now this response can be used throughout all the components. Okay, hope this helps you. These are all the benefits of Jotai. I hope I have covered most of the points. I hope this video helps you. Uh, Please subscribe for the more videos. Thanks for watching. Thank you.